Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you another Marvel Strike Force video. In this video, I wanted to show off my roster for the month of May. I'm going to probably try and do something like this every month, kind of like Mobile Gamer does, rating top 10 characters, just to kind of give you an idea of where I'm progressing. Now, as you guys know, that my main 5 characters, not including Gamora, are on the top of the list: Wolverine, Drax, Night Nurse, Yondu, and Hand Sorceress. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to get other characters up like Captain America, Quake, Thanos, or even Crossbones. It's just that I don't have enough resources to actually do that, and I just unlocked the Hand Sentry this morning, so I look forward to getting that. Now, I was able to actually beat the fight in 1/6 Cosmic to get the 44th fragment for the Kree Noble. Unfortunately, I did not 3-star it, as my characters get obliterated still pretty quickly. So we're going to look at some of the stats of the characters. So Wolverine is my highest threat character. I put most of my ability materials into Wolverine. So you can see the Adamantium Claws is level 6, and you only get a 10% upgraded ability level 7, but keep in mind that there is some sort of hidden mechanic between gear tier and abilities. So like if your abilities are way higher than the opponent's gear tier level, you're just going to shred them to bits. But if your gear tier is higher than the abilities, like ability level 6 is probably like gear tier 9 or 10, then you're actually going to do decently well. So like the Slice and Dice, for example, doesn't do as much damage. The Primal Berserker at level 5 actually does a lot of damage. It probably hits between 14 and 20,000. So my Wolverine currently is gear tier 7, and that's because I've been working on Drax at gear tier 8, and I've actually got a couple pieces towards gear tier 8, but my biggest bottleneck at this time, and this goes for every character, is improved basic catalyst. Are you guys actually purchasing improved basic catalyst through the store and relying on blitz, milestones, and campaign and dailies to actually upgrade your characters? What is your preferred method on this? Because I seem to be struggling with gear tiers, as Lord Irvan has somebody at gear tier 9. I know Dragon has a bunch of decently leveled characters. Night Nurse is also gear tier 8. I've upgraded her Urgent Care up to level 5, and as soon as level 6 is available, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be dumping my stuff into that. We have 4 levels to go to actually get there. First Aid is pretty good, but I feel that the Urgent Care is a way better heal. And next up on the list, we have Gamora. Her Assassin Strike is level 5. I've debated getting it up to level 6 because you can attack twice extra, and each bonus attack then gets 200% damage, and the primary attack gets 250% damage. The Assassin Strike is a basic attack. The thing about Gamora is she's a really high damage character, but her armor is garbage. She does attack pretty quickly, which is a big plus, so characters like Black Widow can help accelerate that, or even characters like Mercenary Lieutenant, which I can't wait to work on once characters are 60. So Gamora is only level 52. If I had her up to level 56, she'd probably be about 9,000 power, maybe a little bit more. And what are your guys' opinions on deadly methods? Do you think that it's worth getting up just to give crit chance to all allies? I think it is, but I think that getting Night Nurse's regen 2 ticks is better, especially for long-term rate sustainability and more stuff for opponents to dispel. So I think that would be a better upgrade than that. Next up, we have Yondu, which is tier 7. I need to get the Yaka arrow up a little bit more. I did just upgrade the Jagged Edge, so now he's hitting for about 8,000. Boarding Party is also another one I probably should consider getting up as well, because applying offense up to all allies, basically villains, is really good. Now, in my normal group, Yondu's the only villain, which kind of sucks, but it does obviously work on the Ravagers. And I haven't actually upgraded the Centauri Hunter, although I hear it's really good to be able to clear positive effects, because getting rid of a taunt or even getting rid of a defense buff is really useful. So there's some work I still need to do on Yondu. Next up, we have the Hand Sorceress, and I need to get the Chief Strike up to level 5 as well, because then she'll be able to do decent damage. The Blood Magic is amazing. Obviously, the upgrade at level 6 is even better, and I only have to wait until level 58. So am I going to spend my purple ability materials on this? More than likely, because being able to heal for 10,000, because that's plus 4,200, so that's actually 6,800 plus 15% of the health. And I'm already healing for 5,700, so this is going to make Hand Sorcerers heal for about 10,000, and the Hand Sorcerers is only Gear Tier 6. So I can't wait to see what the Hand Sorcerer is going to be like at Gear Tier 8. And again, my bottleneck here, improved basic catalyst. So I have to wait till I get 60,000 gold and actually upgrade that. Gold and improved basic catalyst are definitely my bottleneck right now, but I am aggressively leveling people up, so I'm sure if I stuck with my main 5 until level 60 and bought stuff in the store, it would probably help out quite a bit. Next up on the roster, I have a Gear Tier 7 Thor. Thor actually does do a lot of damage, especially with the hammer uppercut. I've been regularly hitting for about 7,000. I imagine I would hit for about 8,000 if I upgraded it to level 5. You can see he's got high damage. Armor is pretty good, 1,400. And he's also got 80 speed. So the problem with Thor is that while he is a high damage dealer, he's pretty tanky like Punisher. His problem is that he's just slow. So a lot of people are going to get 2 attacks before Thor does. Drax is even slower than Thor. But when it comes to defense up, you want slow. Now, Luke Cage is also a Gear Tier 7. And you can see he's pretty slow as well. You kind of want slow on tanks. And he's one that I kind of worked on early. And then I kind of just stopped. Because, like, he just doesn't do that much damage. Yes, the chance for hero ally to assist is pretty good. Taunting, regenerating for a turn, and clearing a negative effect from himself is good. The problem is the negative effects you want to clear are the ones that are going to be applied to you when you get stunned, and that obviously doesn't work when you get stunned. This one I do need to get up because gaining ability energy, especially on a Crossbones Thor Thanos, would be really good. And the Power Man basically just gives you more health, which makes Luke Cage even tankier. Luke Cage is a super tanky character. The problem is he just doesn't do much. He sits there, and unlike Drax, he can't really do any damage. His defense up is good, but that's what you have Hand Sorcerers for. Next up on the list, I have a Tier 6 geared Thanos, currently at 20 of 80, but I do have a couple more Thanos orbs to go through, and I'm hoping that before the event ends, I'll be able to get 10 fragments out of a couple orbs if I open them all at once, and hopefully get a 4-star Thanos. I'm going to be really kicking myself if we end up getting, say, 75 out of 80. That's going to really suck, because then it's going to make me want to purchase Thanos if I see him in the store. Power Punch is basically just a basic attack. It doesn't really do that much damage. Chance to gain counter is pretty good. And also the Brutal Assault attack primary target for a decent amount of damage. This is the ability that I definitely want to get up, because being able to apply offense down on characters like Crossbones, Wolverine, Yondu, it's going to be really helpful. And the Energy Bomb is a lot of damage plus drain, and the attack cannot miss. Now the upgrade to level 4 increases the damage slightly, but gives you a lot more drain. So if your area of affecting for about 2,500 to 3,000, now you're going to drain about 2,500 of that back. And the only good thing about this, well, actually I think the ability level 2 is useless unless it works on himself, but I suspect that more Black Order characters are going to be available in a future update. I'm still kind of curious to see how we're going to get Vision. Captain America is Gear Tier 5, almost Gear Tier 6. I'm just waiting for improved basic catalyst to be able to do that. And we can upgrade the Assemble, which is really good if I had Black Panther or if I had Black Widow to get that 5th Avenger ally. I obviously have Hulk. I don't really like Hulk that much. I'd rather have Black Panther than Hulk, just because I think Captain America can do okay. But there's nothing wrong with 2 Taunters. 2 Taunters can be really good. Next up on the list, we have Crossbones, which is only a Gear Tier 6. And we do have a couple things that we could actually upgrade with, but I'm actually going to save those materials. Obviously, the Detonate I need to get up to level 5, because I think that's when it takes 1 less turn to actually go off. So having a 2-turn Detonate is super powerful. The Wrath is kind of weak. You do gain a little bit of health. Like, say if you're at the end of the match, it's okay to Wrath, because you'll gain some health back. Other than that, it's not good. Piston Punch does apply offense down, which is pretty good. And the Vengeance, you gain more health. More health, obviously, is good. So Crossbones is tanky and doesn't die. Next up, we have Punisher on the list. And I actually like Punisher. Punisher is a high damage character that can do a lot of stuff. The M4 Carbine does a lot. It's basically his bread and butter as far as main offense. And the fact that it can chain to multiple targets is really good. Next up, we have the Shield Medic. Shield Medic, in my opinion, is a garbage character. Yes, the emergency treatment does have a chance to revive. Yes, the emergency treatment does gain a little bit when you can heal allies for an additional 5% max health, but I find this heal to be too weak and too slow. I think that if the Medic's heal was 3 turns, maybe 4, it would be a little bit better, but just get the hand sources up. It's a lot better. Fighting Fit can obviously, you know, give you a decent chunk of health back, but... So the Icer Pistol has a chance to apply offense down for 1 turn, and on crit can apply slow for 2 turns, and when you upgrade it to level 4, you can apply offense down for 2 turns. So basically, the compromise for the Shield Medic healing for less is that it's a decent debuffer. We also have Quake, which is one of the best utility characters in the game because you can apply slow, and if you have it upgraded to level 4, you can apply it for 2 turns, which is super important. For example, if you have a damage dealer and you want to be able to slow them through a taunt, that's really good. Shockwave can clear positive effects, and it can also chain to other targets and clear positive effects. So this is really good for moving defense down, defense ups, and taunts. Really good ability. The Earthquake can apply offense down on multiple enemies for 1 turn. And I think later on it goes up to 2 turns, and that's super good, does a lot of damage. And the Secret Warrior gain extra focus, shield allies gain more damage, and also extra focus. So if you're using shield characters, like for example the Medic and other characters, that's pretty good. Daredevil I find to be a super damaging character who has a brawl, and it can chain up to 4 targets. Daredevil is one of those single target offensive menaces that if left unchecked is going to obliterate you. Daredevil is a high priority target. I think only second to a character like Crossbones. We also have Spider-Man, whose Web Slinger is really good. Chaining to 0 to 2 adjacent targets is interesting. The thing that makes Spider-Man really good is the fact that he can apply defense down to each target for up to 2 turns, I think, at level 5. And his Agile attack has a chance to gain evade, also a decent chance to chain, which is pretty good. And the Tangled Web does a lot of damage and also stuns, which is really useful. The Spidey Sense just gives more dodge chance, which makes him harder to kill. And it's a really good ability. Spider-Man is one of the characters that you can get out of the Blitz store, and is one of the characters that is not farmable, so it is good to actually upgrade Spider-Man. You can consider doing it before Gamora, but you kind of have to pick and choose. Gamora is farmable, Spider-Man really is not. Next up on the list, we have a Tier 6 Bullseye, and this is one of the characters I really want to get up, especially for the Villains campaign. His kill shot basically just wrecks somebody. It's kind of like Wolverine's ultimate, just does a lot of damage. The card trick has a chance to bonus attack for a lot of damage, and when that goes off, it's really good. And the throwing it knife also does a lot of damage. Bullseye is just a really good killer for early game, and he has decent speed. Next up on the list, we have Elektra. Elektra is a little bit underpowered, but Elektra can be a pretty good character. A target defender applied 2 bleed, so it's a good tank killer. Into Shadow also clears taunts, which allows you to get through and hit damage dealers. Vital Strike just hits really hard, really good ability. And Death's Grace on spawn, a random hand ally gains evade. So if you're using Hand Sentry, you can use evade, then use Hand Sentry's ability, give other characters evade. It's just super annoying. But I can't wait to try that out. But Elektra does have some really good hand synergy. Next up, we have the Ravager Bruiser, which I did work on a little bit early on. Ravager Bruiser is a cosmic tank, which is hard to come by, and also villain. So while he might seem a little bit underrated, he does gain like a 70 or 80% chance to gain taunt for 1 turn. His Avast also heals decently, and you gain defense up for 2 turns, which is not a... So you can basically keep this permanently up. So if you use Avast, Cutlass, rinse, repeat, it's going to be hard to get through, especially if you can get his other abilities up. So obviously increasing the block chance is really good. And you have to obviously get that up to be able to block, but yeah, Ravager Bruiser could be a slooper tank. I know a lot of people say he sucks, but as far as cosmic tanks, you have that and Drax. So you also have Thanos too. So not too bad. Jessica Jones is one I also want to get up as well, because you can also get extra resistance. Extra resistance is super useful because it'll make taunt stick, it'll make defense up stick easier, it'll make your regen stick, so pretty useful. The Jawbreaker has a chance to gain ability energy on each attack, and I think this can chain up to 2 times higher up. And Shake It Off is great for clearing like stun abilities. For example, if your main tank gets stunned, or Spider-Man throws a stun or anything, Thor throws a stun, this can help get rid of it and allow you to fight better. So Jessica Jones is definitely the epitome of support, and Rejection can clear multiple primary effects, so decent character, is definitely one I want to work on when everybody hits 60. Next up we have Nebula, who's a super fast attacker, about 107, but also has a chance to gain speed up, which makes it even better. And then you have Challenging Foe, which can gain multiple levels of counter. Mayhem, which can shade for multiple attacks and gain evade, which makes Nebula super annoying to deal with. And Exploit Weakness, a chance to assist, or even a chance to revive on death, which is pretty interesting. Next up we have the Hydra Grenadier, which does all area damage. You kind of have to get this leveled up to actually do any damage. Corrosive Grenade does do decent damage, and removing a positive effect is a nice plus. The Hydra Arsenal gains focus, meaning that you're more likely to remove buffs. So with Crossbones there could be some synergy, but we'll have to see on that. We also have the Hydra Armored Guard, which gains more health and has the Wolverine-like ability where on turn heals for a percentage of max health, and also has a taunt on a 3-turn cooldown which also heals, and you can clear negative effects, which is pretty good. Rapid Fire just does a little bit of damage, but I could see Hydra Armored Guard kind of working with the Hydra setup, and I'd be curious to see if it works. Hydra is also a villain, so that's super useful. Iron Fist has kind of a ghetto Wolverine-like effect, but it can heal defender allies when leveled up, so it's going to be interesting. I don't think Iron Fist is that damaging, but I'd have to level up. And there's a chance you don't gain offense down with the Iron Fist, which might be useful later on. I haven't really worked on Iron Fist. I've heard pretty bad things about him, but I have a feeling that if you can get him leveled up, he might be pretty good in raids, kind of like a ghetto Wolverine, but we'll have to see. Next up, somebody that I badly need to work on is Hawkeye. And Hawkeye can actually take the gear tier 4, which is very exciting, because now I can get rid of stealth from hand sentries and from Elektra. So that's really useful for that. So Hawkeye is one of the only characters that can apply blind, which is really good, and apply 40 damage to the primary target. That's really interesting, unless it's 90% damage. Concussion Arrow can remove a bunch of positive effects. It can also reduce the speed bar on the primary target, which is really good. And the Deadeye has a chance to get more crit and is unavoidable, which is really good. So yeah, Hawkeye, once I hit level 60, is probably going to be one of the first characters I actually level up. We also have the Hulk, who is always angry. And once he drops below a certain threshold of health, he gains Death Proof. This is one of the Avenger tanks that I definitely want to work with. I think Hulk and Captain America with Black Widow and Thor and Iron Man could work really well. Or even Black Panther until I get Iron Man. I think that would work really well. The Rage basically gives taunt and can clear negative effects, and if the character is below health, you can also heal. The Leap does a lot of damage. This is where Hulk can really just smash people. So Hulk is one of the interesting ones because he's actually an offensive tank, and the Smash can do a lot of damage, especially when he's under 50% health. So Hulk can definitely smash. He's definitely one of those interesting characters, and if you have some way to heal or give buffs to Hulk, it's just ridiculous. Mercenary Soldier doesn't seem like a good character, but we'll have to test that out. If he gains Punisher-like area of effect, that might be good, but yeah, I don't think this character is really that good. Shield Trooper gains counterattack and can gain 2 counter. Nothing really special there. The Oyster Rifle can apply slow on crit, so if you have crit synergy with Gamora, that could be really good. And if you upgrade the fire support, you're going to get more slow. So it's going to be interesting. Shield Trooper, I don't think I'd count out, but I don't think is that good. The Hydra Scientist has a chance to apply a positive effect to one ally. Test Patient can apply Death Proof to lowest health ally. And I'm actually curious about Hydra Scientist. I think Hydra Scientist could be really good. Being able to apply heal block seems amazing for dealing with damage dealers. So I'm actually curious about Hydra Scientist. I think there's some potential there. Ravager Stitcher, we know with Yondu can be really good. If you upgrade the Stitcher kit, each ally heals for a decent amount of health. And obviously it goes up. And then the Detox treatment upgrades the health. So the fact that it's also a Cosmic is usable in the Cosmic campaign. So you can use this as a healer along with Hand Sorcerers. Going to be interested to see if Ravager Stitcher is actually worth using. Being able to apply bleed also makes it so you can do more damage to somebody. So we'll have to see. Again, healing is premium in the Cosmic campaign because it's basically non-existent. And being able to patch your Gamora up, I think, would be super important. Next up, we have the Mercenary Sniper, who seems to do a lot of damage, especially with steady aim on a 3-turn timer and attacking the target. So this basically just seems like a really high basic damage dealer with a piercing passive. That seems pretty interesting. So for a single target damage dealer, especially in the blaster category for the challenge, I think it's a good one to get up. But I don't know if it's worth using in the Villains campaign. We'll have to see. Next up, we have the Shield Operative, who's only Gear Tier Level 2. And I think I needed the classified files to actually upgrade the Shield Operative. Shield Operative is really interesting because her heal is on a 2-turn timer, and it also gives stealth, which is super useful. And you can apply it 2 times for 1 turn. You can even apply a higher regeneration. The fact that this works on 2 turns is super good. And we're just going to upgrade it to Gear Tier 4, and we need more gold to do that. So unfortunately, can't do that. But yeah, Shield Operative is definitely underrated in my opinion, and I think really useful, especially in a shield setup. Next up, we have the Aim Researcher that can heal the lowest ally plus character's max health and apply the offense down. While this does look really bad, you have to keep in mind that this is a really big heal. And if you're running Jessica Jones, you can just remove all of the effects. So it basically does nothing. And on turn, you can convert a negative effect on an ally into a positive effect. The wounding shot can apply offense down. There is some usefulness with offense down. So I'll have to see. Speed is kind of low. So more than likely, unless you're applying this to like Drax or to a slow character like Thanos, you're going to get a tick off the offense down, which kind of sucks. But if you're going to be taunting with Drax, for example, the next turn, doesn't really matter. You're not really doing much. We also have the Kree Royal Guard, which can taunt and gain health, and you can even buff it up to more max health. The Royal Guard armor gains armor per Kree ally. Armor is obviously premium at higher levels. And the Guardian Blaster can attack primary target and give ability energy. We've seen that synergy in the raids, and it's actually pretty good. We also have the Hydra Rifle Trooper. This is kind of a ghetto Punisher. It has no piercing involved in it, except in the Talon Assault Rifle. So this character sucks. The only difference is it's a villain and a blaster. So it might have some use for that, but that's about it. We also have the Hand Assassin, which in my opinion is a pretty useful hand character because of the heal block. And if it can go up to 2 turns, that's pretty damn good. The ninjutsu is just a basic attack, and the touch of death is basically just extra damage. So pretty offensive character. In high multiplier blitzes, I actually like using this character to get the multiplier up higher. Hydra Sniper can zero in, gain offense up, and always apply offense up to 1 ally is super useful. And the fact that you gain the offense up for the next turn means that you can use your marksman shot, which you have to get this up, and it'll just do a lot of damage. And then the on target, you gain piercing, which is super important with the marksman shot because it basically just means you're going to do more damage. So again, there's probably better options for single target damage. The offense up is useful, but why not just run Kingpin? It was a better one. Yes, the zero in is on 2 turns, but we'll have to see. Ronan the Accuser is definitely one I want to get up. He also is Cosmic Mystic Villain, so he's going to be super useful for that. He's going to be in high-level campaign. And he has a chance to clear positive effect later on, which is super useful on a basic attack, kind of like Yondu. The Judgment clears all negative effects from self, heals self and all Kree allies for health plus percentage of max health. So, if this can get upgraded later on to affect all allies, an offensive character with a heal is super useful. The Universal Weapon can apply ability block, which is really good. And the Accuser gains resist, basically meaning that positive effects are going to be harder to remove, which is pretty good. Definitely a character I want to get up. Next up, we have the shield security, which can attack primary target and adjacent enemies for damage, chance to stun a target, and if it can stun them for multiple turns, that could be useful. The stun baton applies slow if stun is not applied to target. Obviously, applying slow means that the target is going to stay stunned longer, which can be useful. And shield agent, when an ally drops below 50% health, taunt for 1 turn. So in order to make this super useful, you have to have healing, and this has to be leveled up like super high. I don't see that being very good, but we'll have to see. Also, we have the hand archer, which can clear positive effects off enemies, which is super useful. Like if Luke Cage throws a defense buff or Captain America throws a defense up buff plus taunt, you can combine this with Hawkeye and Yondu, and yeah, they're not keeping any buffs. This does decent damage as well. And gaining accuracy allows you to bypass dodge, which is super important. So, yeah, there's some pretty good hand synergy there. The shield assault, in my opinion, seems pretty bad. However, there is some synergy with Quake, because slowed or stunned enemies take more damage. So, you would hit for 110% damage, but slowed or stunned enemies hit for 120. Or maybe all the damage just goes up in general, and the concussion grenade, you obviously have to upgrade it to be useful. And the airborne, you gain max health. That's pretty garbage, but we'll have to see how that goes later on. The Ravager Boomer, you've seen them from the Ravager minions, and it's pretty good. Plasma Blast doesn't really do much. The Heavy Artillery has a chance to assist Ravager allies. This is where the Ravager synergy does come into play. It does have the Cosmic tag, so you can use Ravager Boomer in the Cosmic campaign. Are you going to want to? Probably not. Mercenary Riot Guard, you can gain block chance. You can gain taunt and defense up once you get it upgraded. So yeah, Mercenary Riot Guard could be a decent tank on a 3-turn cooldown, not too bad. And that's just a basic attack. So this character really doesn't do much except soak up hits. But I do use him on my low-level team, and it seems pretty good. Got the Hand Blade Master, who does a lot of damage. It's kind of like that Gamora effect, in a way. Obviously, Gamora is better than Hand Blade Master. But, again, there's hand synergy. You can also use synergy with Elektra. So, Nobu would obviously make it better. But, see on that. A Monstrosity has a chance to gain health. Why not just run Wolverine? Sudden Evolution. You gain offense up but get defense down. And I'm sure there's some weird scientist synergy where you can convert negatives into positives. And you can heal health. And the Bash does give defense down, which is really hard to come by. But more than likely, you're probably not going to be able to make it work. It'd be cool if I could, but more than likely, probably not. Kree Reaper has a chance to heal on crit. That's pretty good. There's some synergy with Gamora there. You can also apply heal block with the Ferocious Pursuit, and the Predatory Strike has a chance to gain ability energy. There's another Kree that gives ability energy, so could be super useful. And we also have the Hand Sentry, which I just unlocked. And this is the last character that I've unlocked. You can apply Evade to all allies. Hand Sentry has been deemed one of the best characters in the game for that mechanic. And with Elektra, you get even more synergy with that. So, pretty interesting stuff. The fact that it's also available in the Mystic campaign when it becomes available, it's going to be a super useful character to get up. And finally, for the characters that I don't have, as you saw, I'm one off from getting Kree Noble. Kree Oracle's a little bit off. Mercenary Lieutenant I have been farming for. Black Widow's a little bit off. Winter Soldier, if I can get a premium orb, he's basically unlocked. AIM Assaulter, Kingpin, Kree Cyborg. AIM Infector, Nobu I'm 35 out of 100. I would really love to get that up. AIM Security, Korath the Pursuer, Scientist Supreme, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Nick Fury, Rocket Raccoon, Ultimus, and Vision are the characters that I do not own. So, sorry this video is a little bit long. If you guys enjoy it, do give it a like rating, comment, subscribe. Share this video amongst your friends. It is a favorite. Check out my other Marvel Strike Force videos playlist. Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, which are all HollywoodShono. My Instagram, which is HollywoodShono'sGod. And tune in next month for the June update. Have a wonderful day, kids.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe, bitches!